Ever since I started painting with watercolors 3 years ago, I've been painting using the same control technique.
I'm using a caliper to measure where I'm going to put my tape, and I'm going to make sure that it's 1 centimeter all the way around so it's even. The tape that I like to use the most is painter's tape. I tried many colors and types of tape, but this one sticks the best. And why I like that it's a blue color instead of black is because you could see through the tape, which is really, really helpful.
The only way I experimented with watercolors was by switching the paper I used from traditional cold press watercolor paper to Yupo paper. However, my painting technique essentially stayed the same. Your creative process is to some extent a reflection of who you are. I'm the type of person who likes to analyze and understand the world around me, which I think translates into how I approach my painting process. Having this perspective has given me a sense of security and control. The flip side to this approach, though, is that it can bring with it overthinking and unnecessary worry about the future. This was the mindset I was slowly spiraling into until everything changed. Back in December, for the first time, I went on a trip alone without family or close friends. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I took the leap anyway and surprised myself with how much I enjoyed it. This trip gave me a new sense of confidence in myself and made me realize that I was more capable than I thought. It's true that in life there are so many changes that are sometimes beyond your control. What doesn't change though is that you got yourself. And just as now you're capable of figuring things out, in the future you'll be capable of handling whatever comes your way too. This feeling is something I wanted to capture in this painting. This is going to be a mixed media portrait created with ballpoint pen and watercolor. The idea of how I'm going to paint this portrait is unlike anything I've seen before. I took my own reference photo, but I still got inspiration for this piece from these 2 pictures from Pinterest. I loved the idea to create half of the drawing in black and white, and the other half in color. I also really loved the color palette and loose art style in the second reference photo, so I'll be trying to replicate it in my own way when I paint in the eye area of this piece with watercolors.
When I draw with pen, I don't focus on the strokes that I'm doing. I kind of approach it like painting. I'm scribbling and drawing in the values as opposed to looking at every single line and trying to figure out like what direction everything should be. I'm just focusing on drawing in the darkest values, just kind of scribbling it in like I would with paint. So just as with paint, I would, do the darkest areas and like go over and like layers, kind of like a wash. I'm thinking of it as a wash kind of. So that's why I get some scribbly strokes here. As you can see, it's like very scribbly, but it's all kind of cohesive because I'm focusing on values as opposed to the direction of my strokes. And I think this really frees you to go darker, and it takes much less time. So I actually kind of like this method of drawing with pen a lot.
I decided to combine ballpoint pen, which is a very controlled medium, with watercolors to represent the balance of structure and movement.
I put my paper flat. Usually when I paint with watercolors on Yupo paper, I put my paper on an art stand and I let the watercolors drip down, and I use gravity to kind of show movement with the paint and let it drip and do all kinds of things. This time though, I'm going to try something different and try painting on Yupo paper with watercolors while the surface is fully flat. And I'm going to try to get like washes and like blobs of color that otherwise would be running if I was using it on a stand.
On its own, structure brings security and movement is hard to control. But when you embrace your spontaneous creative side and guide it with structure and purpose, you become unstoppable. Let yourself trust the process, because often what keeps you from seeing good results is just that you didn't give it enough time. And even if afterwards you still don't like what you created, maybe you're just not meant to be the one who will appreciate it. When I was a kid, my favorite flowers were dandelions. In the summer, they would grow all over my backyard, and my childhood memories are full of making wishes while blowing on the seeds, collecting them into mini bouquets, and making flower crowns. Then someone told me, "That's your favorite flower? Don't you know those are weeds?"
I feel like this painting looks a little bit unbalanced with just this part in color, so I'm going to try adding like splashes and like washes maybe.
If you feel like you're not appreciated for who you are, you're probably just in the wrong place. Don't let anyone make you believe that you are a weed. You could be someone else's favorite flower. I think the same concept applies to your art. If you don't resonate with what you create, you might just not be the one meant to appreciate your artwork. It still has a right to exist, and maybe someone somewhere will deeply treasure it. I'm really happy with how the controlled pen strokes flow into the bright and free watercolor part. This painting shows that each and every one of us have to embrace both sides of us. Having control but also letting yourself experiment, planning your artwork but also letting yourself splash and have fun are all a part of creating balance. Appreciating that comes with experience and time. What if you let yourself create whatever you wanted? I think this painting helped me break out of my shell and became one of the best portraits I ever made.